Hello, I'm Dr. Helen Marley. We want our students to play with a natural and healthy technique so that they play beautifully and they feel good at the instrument. The first step in achieving this goal is to teach our students how to sit at the piano bench as well as how to have a good hand position. Let's have our students sit comfortably at the bench. They will sit in the front part of the piano bench, and they will sit in the middle of the keyboard, which is between middle C and treble G. Let's have our students imagine a daisy growing through their spine and out the top of their heads. This will help them to sit tall and long. There are 4 natural curves to the spine, and this enables us to have flexibility and balance when we play the piano. The students will notice that their legs and their torso form a tripod, and this gives great control and balance over the keyboard. The students can lean slightly forward because it is the front part of the spine that bears weight into the instrument. If a child is too small to reach the floor, let's go ahead and get a stool or some books so that the students feel grounded. When the students are playing then, with this kind of balance and flexibility, they'll play beautifully and with ease. It's also important that students sit on their sit bones right here like this. And even if they move back and forth, they can feel where they are. The tailbone is not weight bearing. So we want to make sure that our students don't slump over and sit on their tailbones. This feels really uncomfortable at the instrument, and the sound is not going to be good, and they're not going to feel good at the instrument. So the next step to learning a great posture at the instrument is to think about the distance from the keyboard as well as the height of the piano bench. There's a wonderful video of Vladimir Horowitz playing a recital in Vienna, Austria. He walks to the piano. He's an elderly gentleman by now, and he sits at the keyboard, and actually the bench is a little bit too close to the keys. He puts his arms up, and he notices that he really can't swing back and forth. His elbows are too close to the side of his body. So he moves the piano bench back, and now he has freedom underneath his arms, and he notices that the elbow is slightly in front of his body. He plays a few beautiful chords so that he can hear the resonance in the hall. He puts his hands in his lap, and then he's ready to begin the recital. So many of our little students play with crocodile arms. The bench is so close to them. This will give them absolutely no sense of freedom or sound. So let's make sure that the elbows are slightly in front of the body. The tip of the elbow is at the same level or slightly higher than the top part of the white keys. Let's not have our students do any kind of gesture where they're straight and rigid and tight, because it's unattractive at the piano and it isn't going to help anyone be comfortable and relaxed at the instrument. If you notice that your student is sitting too low at the instrument and their elbow is below the top of the white keys, we have to get them higher on the bench. There's a really nifty knee pad for the garden for only $8. We can put this on the bench. We can put more than one on the bench, and it will elevate our students to be at the right height. If you want something a little bit snazzier, there are also foam pads with velvet coverings, and these are nice for recitals. These also come in various heights as well. The third part of good posture and hand position is actually figuring out what good hand position is. We can have our students dangle their arms to their side and bring up their hands like this, or we can also have a student put their hand over their elbow and feel the space in between the fingers. They bring up their hand then to the keys, nicely molded like that, and they'll notice that these 4 knuckles form a very strong bridge. This is imperative for good piano playing. I call these 4 knuckles 4 little hills, so that the students can imagine something fun when they are looking and thinking about their hand position. We can ask our students what letter do they see between the thumb and finger 2. And they'll say, I see a letter C. The next step to a really wonderful hand position is to close the fall board. And this fourth step is just solidly tapping their hand position on the fall board. When the students are playing on the pads of their fingers are nice and strong, and the 4 little hills are nice and strong as well. There's really wonderful flexibility in the wrist as well as the forearm. We want to make sure we don't say to play on the fingertips, because this does not allow freedom in the wrist and the forearm. This comes from the Russian school of playing. So wonderful pianists like Gilels and Horowitz and Rubinstein, they all played on this fleshy pad of their fingers right here. And this gives a beautiful, warm sound to their playing. When we ask our students to play on their fingertips, then they're playing right at the pad up here. And this doesn't give that good of a sound. The last step in a nice hand position is to have our students, yes, of course, look at the strength of their 5th finger, but also look at where the thumb is being played. They're going to feel that they tap on the outside tip of their thumbnail. They're also going to feel a little bit of the flesh right by that thumb tip. And that is where they have to play on their thumb. Well, I'll talk more about that in later videos, but this is the way to start with a beautiful posture and wonderful hand position. See you next time.